Welcome to your GPS Boss onboarding. In this video, we will cover how to use the checklist feature. Checklists are used as a general data capturing tool. Some common uses are pre-starts, on-off hire, and proof of delivery. Checklists are not enabled as default, as they do incur a charge. So if you're interested in this feature, let us know and we can provide a trial period. Once checklists has been enabled, you will see a checklist drop-down menu along the taskbar. Select Manage Checklists to see all of your active checklists. To start with, we will run through a checklist on the Telematics Guru app to see what it looks like. From the main page, we can select checklists. We will then be taken to the list of checklists available. We also have the option in the top right of the screen to scan a QR code to automatically take us to the correct checklist and pre-fill the asset details. Then we choose a checklist to complete. In this case, the checklist is being used for a specific asset, so we need to select it from the list. We can then run through and enter any data that is asked for and answer the questions. In some cases, specific answers to questions will prompt questions asking for more information. We can also ask for photos to be taken. Then, when the checklist is complete, the data will be uploaded. We can also have the checklist set to make sure an unsafe asset is not used. For example, if the tread on the tyres is too low, the driver is asked to stop and contact their supervisor. Now back on the web browser, if we select View Answers from the Checklists menu in the taskbar, we will see the two checklists that were just completed under the Unresolved tab. The first is marked as Attention, as we said that there was damage to the vehicle. The second is marked Critical, as we said that the tyres were worn out. If we click on the first checklist, you can view the answers provided. On the right side of the screen, you can see the severity of the answers. Here, you can see that because there is damage to the vehicle, it has been marked as Attention. Here, you are also able to view the uploaded photo. You can then add any comments about the checklist, i.e. when the damage is due to be fixed, and then either just save the comment or save and resolve. Once we resolve the checklist, we can no longer add comments, and the checklist will now be removed from the Unresolved tab. Now we will show you how to build a checklist. On the Manage Checklist page, we can create a new checklist. To start with, we give it a name. If the checklist applies to a specific asset, we want to make sure that Require Asset Selection is selected. We can then choose an asset so only assets of that type are shown in the list. We can also require a project selection. You can also modify the critical message. Then, once the checklist is saved, it will appear in the list. Click on the checklist to edit the content. On the Questions tab, you can add questions and see the current lists of questions. When you add or edit a question to the checklist, you need to choose the type of question that is used. You also need to set the configuration to set the severity for each answer and if users need to skip ahead for any questions. For example, if this question is answered yes, then the user needs to answer the next question, which asks if they impair driver vision. But if they select no, then it skips that question and takes them to the next relevant question. On the Details tab, you can rename the checklist and change the critical message. On the User tab, we need to assign the users who need access to this checklist. By default, no users are assigned to a checklist. You also need to set the notification recipients and choose which severities they are notified on. Here, you can also link documents to the checklist and generate the QR code for a checklist. If you need help with anything else, please contact us and we will be happy to help.